Have you ever watched something so weirdly funny and just thought, where did this even come from? Well, today we're digging into the origin story of the channel Not Your Type. And spoiler alert, it all started with a childhood that was, well, let's just say anything but typical.
This quote from the creators really says it all, doesn't it? It basically confirms that their crazy content isn't just made up for laughs. Nope, they see it more like a documentary of their own chaotic lives.
So that's the big question, right? What kind of life actually creates a channel like this? What were the real-life events that fueled all this animated madness? Let's get into it.
First up, childhood's weird logic. This is where we explore a world where the rules of reality were a bit more flexible.
Okay, check this out, because it perfectly captures their, let's call it, unique business sense. The expectation for the tooth fairy is simple, right? You leave a tooth, you get a little cash. But their reality? He put his grandma's 7,000 rupee dentures under the pillow and got a whopping 32 rupees back. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. What a terrible return on investment.
And here's the best part. Their takeaway from this whole thing. The verdict was simple. It wasn't that the plan was maybe, a little flawed. Oh no. In their world, the tooth fairy was obviously running some kind of scam.
This weird logic also applied to fighting monsters. Take their guide on how to fight a witch. Step 1. You see her footprints. Simple enough. Step 2. You completely forget that, in all the stories, a witch's feet are on backwards, so you run in the exact wrong direction. Step 3. You somehow, accidentally, arrive right at her house. And the grand finale, Step 4, you try for a sneak attack from behind, only to realize, whoops, that's her face.
So naturally, this kind of thinking fed right into the main event of their household. Brother versus brother, WWE style. This wasn't just sibling rivalry. This was where legends were born. All right, this next story is an absolute classic. Picture it, a tense school bathroom mystery. The crime? The younger brother is caught, as they so delicately put it, brown-handed. The older brother is then summoned to the scene like a detective in a crime movie. The accused is crying, pleading his innocence, and then, the twist! A full-blown investigation reveals the true culprit was the PT teacher. And this, right here, is the line that became iconic for them. The younger brother, caught in the act, screaming, "I'm being framed." It just perfectly sums up the level of drama they brought to every single childhood mishap.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the absolute peak of their childhood anxiety, the terror of boarding school. But as you're about to see, their fear had absolutely nothing to do with being away from home.
We've all heard this one, right? It's the classic parental threat. Mess up, and you're going to boarding school. For most kids, that sounds awful, because you'll miss your family. For them, it was something else entirely.
So that's the question, isn't it? What was the real fear? What could possibly be so terrifying about boarding school in their minds?
And here it is. The source of all their terror wasn't some mean teacher or bullies. It was Ishan Awasthi, the main character from the famous Bollywood movie Tare Zameen Par. But to them, he wasn't a misunderstood kid with dyslexia. No, he was the crazy kid with big teeth, and they were absolutely convinced that boarding school was full of kids just like him. This table just lays out how wildly they misunderstood this movie. They saw the title, Stars on the Ground, and thought it meant a literal electric trap on the ground to shock the kid. They saw the star, Amir Khan, in a Joker costume and figured he must be an action hero setting that trap. And when he said the word dyslexia, they just thought he was complaining to his own parents. And this quote just sums up their entire theory perfectly. I thought it was an action movie where Amir Khan, dressed as a Joker, would catch the crazy kid. So this beautiful, heartwarming story was, in their minds, a high-octane thriller about capturing a monster. You just can't make this up. So where does all this lead? Well, that brings us to our final section, the punchline, their channel, where we see how all this childhood chaos got turned directly into creative gold. When you look at it, all these bizarre experiences, the sibling WWE matches, the failed tooth fairy scams, the dramatic bathroom crime scenes, the witch fighting fails, and those boarding school nightmares, they all became the raw materials for their comedy. And the idea that started it all was just so brilliantly simple. One brother turned to the other and just said, "You talk, and I'll animate." One's the storyteller, the other's the artist. That was the formula.
And with that simple deal, combining a lifetime of completely weird stories with a super unique talent, Not Your Type was born.
It really shows how our past makes us who we are, doesn't it? So that leaves us with one last thought.
What's that one weird story from your own past that kind of explains everything about who you are today?